you. You guys should subscribe, become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel, follow me on social media, and all of that. Today we're going to talk about why Adrien is evil. No, sort of. So we're going to talk about something I've noticed from this episode. So this is Desperata, the newest episode that has come out. It's not that Adrien's evil, but there's an eerie similarity between him and Gabriel in this episode, and I think it's worth pointing out, because it is not necessarily like an evil thing to do, but that is what has led to evil things happening, if that makes sense, to villainous things happening. To Gabriel being a villain is the same behavior that Adrien is exhibiting now. Does that make sense? So we're gonna talk about that, but first, okay, we gotta talk about something else. I uploaded my reaction, like I always do, except it wasn't like it always is, because it got a copyright strike. Not a claim, not a block, like a whole strike. And that makes me very upset. Like, obviously you guys can't tell, okay, I'm putting on a brave face, but like, tears have been shed, there has been crying. I decided to do this video just so I have something miraculous related to put out today. I do want to make more theories, because my theories in the past have been successful and popular and whatever the case. But yeah, so if you guys don't know, usually what happens is that when a video, like if you upload a miraculous reaction, at least for me, this is what happens to me, okay? It gets blocked in France. I don't know why, it just does. It gets blocked in France. After it gets blocked in France, they monetize it, so whatever company claims it, right, the company that I guess makes or produces Miraculous, whatever, they take all the money, so whatever money I would have made, they take it, which is like fine, like, you know, it's not my show, so good for you. And that's it, like, you guys can still watch it. But today, something was weird, and so someone manually went on my video, so somebody from like the company went on my video and was like, oh, well, we're gonna give this girl a copyright strike, because it says manually detected, right? And so I could say, guys, this is a big misunderstanding, we'll fix it, and I do think that we'll fix it. Okay, I sent them an email, they were responsive, the guy that I emailed sent me to another guy to email or something, so hopefully it'll all turn out for the best. There will be some sort of, you know, maybe they won't take the strike off, but they'll put the video back up, which is like fine, like I'd be fine with that. But yeah, so it's just been a little weird. It's just been a little weird because that never happens, and it has me like really freaked out a little bit. So yeah, that's just what happened. And so yeah, when they manually detected, that means someone clicked on it and went, we're gonna give this girl a copyright strike, which is weird because they've never ever done that before or anything. So I'm just like, okay, but yeah, so that's why I'm making this video, because I wanted to put out something else today, and I sort of thought of like a theory sort of thing. And so we're gonna do the theory. I just wanted to inform everyone why my reaction isn't there. If it's back up, then hopefully everything got fixed. Okay, I know that's a long sort of intro, but now we're gonna get into it, alright? So this is the first thing, okay? They both have literally the same, like, I don't know how to explain it, but they both have it, okay? And like, even Gabriel has that butterfly thing, like, around his face, if you guys can see it, like, in that picture, it's sort of like, almost, I don't want to say carved, but, like, carved into his mask or whatever. And even Adrien has a little, like of the snake thing, right? So basically, they both have the same, like, squishy head thing. I don't know what you call it. I mean, it's a mask, right? Like, it's almost like a Spider-Man mask, but with the mask, like, with the mouth part exposed. I don't know what you call it. I'm just saying that, like, that's what's happening here. So that's, like, the first thing, okay? And you guys may be like, but Cal, that doesn't prove anything. And it doesn't, which is why we're gonna talk about the next thing, okay? So everybody get out their phones, because we're gonna do some math. And I barely passed math in high school, so, you know, that's why we're all here. So this is the number of times that Adrien tried to save Ladybug. And we're gonna times that by like 5 minutes, because that's how far we can go back in time, okay? Then you get this number. Then you times that by, what do you times it by? I have the entire formula, now I forgot. So you times that by 5, okay? Because those are the amount of minutes. Oh, now we're dividing. We're dividing by 60, because that will make it into like hours, if that makes sense. And so that's the hours. And so this is the hours, and now we're dividing that into 31, okay? Because basically, if you guys don't know what I'm doing, basically it has minutes, you convert minutes into hours, you convert hours into days by dividing it by 31, because there's 24 hours in a day. I think that's how it works. Anyways, Adrien spent 70, like depends on what number you put in. But anyway, trying to save Ladybug. Okay, so he spent literally 2 months, okay, because like 70 days is basically 2 months and a little bit, okay? He spent 2 months straight trying to save Ladybug. And I have some questions, okay? Because this is low-key traumatic, alright? Because he hasn't slept. He just reverts back into that state. So if he wasn't hungry, he doesn't get hungry. If he wasn't tired, he doesn't get tired. He's just been up. Imagining, guys, imagine being awake for 2 months straight, doing the exact same thing over and over again, okay? And so this is what we're really talking about today. This is the meat of this theory. Alright, Adrien is relentless. He only gave up after 2 months of trying. Think about that, and think about, I don't know, just think about that. Like, think about that, keep that in mind, and keep in mind the parallels between their costume, okay? Here's my opinion. Hawkmoth, when you really think about it, is that determined to save the woman that he loves, right? Like, that's why he's doing all this. He's trying to save his wife. He's trying to save Adrien's mom. That's why he wants a Miraculous. That's why Hawkmoth gets up every day and does the same thing over and over and over again. Like, I know this isn't like the real definition or whatever, but like, you know how some people are like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It's like, Hawkmoth wakes up every single day and does the same thing. And Adrien basically did that, but even condensed, because Hawkmoth, like, he gets up, he goes to sleep, he gets up, he does his thing, he goes to sleep, he has a job, you know, like, he has other sort of things that he does. He's just not Hawkmoth all day, okay? So, you know, Hawkmoth just does that every single day. But Adrien is so different, because he didn't get to wake up, do this, go to sleep and repeat, okay? He just did it for basically 2 straight months. Over and over and over again. And so, basically, you could say, I don't know how long, you know, I don't know if it would all even out after a while, but I think that the amount of time Adrien spent sort of doing that, you know, trying to save Ladybug probably equals out to the amount of time that Hawkmoth has been trying to save Emily. And so it's sort of one of those things where you have to sort of wonder, like, that's sort of interesting, because you could say that, you know, something that is the cause of Hawkmoth's villainy is a trait that Adrien also has, this sort of relentless attitude. And I think that it's like, in a sense, Adrien only really, like, gave up because he couldn't bear it anymore. He was literally gonna go insane. Whereas Hawkmoth, I guess, on the other side of it, he'll have his breaking point one day too. You know what I mean? And so I think that's interesting. I think that's scary. I think that it's scary how much, like, of that from Gabriel, Adrien may have inherited. Because again, what makes Adrien a hero, that he'll relentlessly protect Ladybug and, you know, make sure that nothing happens to her and continue to try to save her and be there for her, is a villainous trait in Hawkmoth, right? And stories do this a lot, and so I'm gonna give you guys a short, like, English lesson, but this is like a thematic foil, or just a foil. You just call it a foil. So, like foils and mirrors, I guess you could say. So, in a story, you sort of have a character that have the same core personality trait, but they're on opposite sides, if that makes sense. So if you have a villain that has the same personality trait as a hero, and maybe they started as the same, but they went off 2 different paths, where one of them was on the path of good, and then one of them was on the path of evil, if that makes sense. And sort of when you see Adrien, you could sort of see, you know, something very similar in Hawkmoth in Adrien. Except hopefully Adrien will stay on the path of good, while as Hawkmoth has already gone down the path of villainy. But we also know, right, that Adrien gets akumatized this season. So it's even more scary. It's even more a little scary. And you know, this is such a weird thing to bring up, but you know how a lot of people make those, like, okay, so it's the song from Tangled, right? And they make, like, animatics of it, right? Where it's Adrien and he takes the Hawkmoth Miraculous and he has the Cat Noir Miraculous, and he's, like, trapped Marinette somewhere, and then all the heroes have to go save her. And it's like the I'm ready as I'll ever be. You know, it's that song, right? Like, that's what I imagine here. It's like if Adrien could veer down the wrong path, he could get on Hawkmoth's side. you know what I mean? Especially if his heart is broken by Ladybug and the only person he really truly loves in the world left is his mom. And he finds out that his mom is savable as long as he, you know what I mean? Like following in Dad's footsteps. That's a little scary. And I think that's, in a sense, what makes Hawkmoth so sympathetic, because Hawkmoth isn't a villain. I mean, he is, but he's a normal person that has a problem, and he's trying to solve the problem, and he's going through great lengths to solve that problem. You know what I mean? Like, he's he's a man who wants the love of his life back. He's a father who wants the mother of his child back. Like, all of that stuff that you could say. He, has that sympathetic motivation. And so I think that, in a sense, if it happened to Adrien, that would be very interesting, and that would make him very sympathetic too. But yeah, so that's all I've noticed, is that Adrien is very much like his dad in this episode, and that could bring interesting things for like the Felix episode in Chaton Block, I guess. We take French in Canada, but obviously it didn't stick with me. Maybe if I had Miraculous Ladybug when I took French, I would have liked it better. But yeah, that's my theory, basically, is that in this episode, Adrien displays some Hawkmoth-like behaviors, and that's a little scary. That brings up a lot of thoughts, and so, I don't know, just thought that was interesting to add. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. If this video has taught you anything, like, go watch those I'm Ready AMVs and the animatics. Like, the animatics are what I think the really good ones. Like, he takes the butterfly, and he takes the cat Miraculous, and he takes the peacock one. Like, Adrien's just like dressed up to the nines, and it's great. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. It is a theory video. It's not in the usual format that I usually make the theory videos anymore, but I just wanted to do something quickly. So I hope this is okay. Bye. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our wonderful patrons over on Patreon who support the channel. Their names will scroll through now.